Hello and welcome to Dustin Expo Speakerbox Conversations. My name is Gordon and I'm sitting here with Niclas Johansson, CEO and founder of Immersivt.se. And you're a bit of an expert when it comes to AR and VR. Is that correct?
I guess people call me that, yeah.
We call you that because that's what we want to talk about today.
Great.
But so let's start with what is AR and VR and the differences between those.
Yeah. So augmented reality is when you want to see the world around you, but you also want to see digital objects or maybe virtual screens and stuff. So you can see AR through your mobile phone a lot now, but of course more and more in the future through AR glasses and AR headsets. And VR is when you don't want to see the world around you, but you enclose yourself completely with a VR headset and you see digital objects or virtual worlds.
So that's when you go immersively into one other world, a virtual world completely. And AR is kind of a hybrid.
Yeah. Some people like to talk about mixed reality, and the hard distinction between the two isn't always super clear. They're going to mix and blend more and more.
Okay. But so we're going to focus on digital meetings as the world is getting more and more mobile. A lot of the vendors here at Dustin Expo talk about that the workspace is not an office anymore. You can work from wherever. And that means video conferences and Skype calls and whatnot. And AR and VR should probably be used in that in the future, or at least that's what I see in the future.
Yeah.
And what would you say? How will it be used?
Yeah, so first of all, it's not only in the future. VR has been out on the consumer market since 2016 now, and it's maturing, closing to maturation. But there's finished and complete digital meeting services for VR headsets. So I brought this one, the Oculus Go, because this I've been using to chat with groups of 4 people where we can all nod our heads in our digital avatars and wave to each other and watch movies and content together.
So it's not only in the future. You use it today.
Yeah.
Like virtual meetings.
Yeah. Remote stand-up meetings with a small team, or to beam myself into conferences. So Facebook has actually streamed developer conferences where you can sit in a big crowd along with 200 other avatars. So we, the 4 of us, beamed ourselves into this conference and chatted to each other while watching Mark Zuckerberg in stereoscopic 3D, like 2 meters in front of us.
Well, that's pretty cool. So it's actually being used today. That was not like, oh, here we'll just show it off. That was an actual event being.
Yeah. And Facebook or Oculus are regularly streaming like sports events, stand-up, and it's called Oculus Venues. So that's one of the coolest like mobile VR digital meetings.
Cool, because I can see there's sci-fi scenes, Star Wars, for example. There's a hologram coming up, and you talk with that instead of just calling someone or a screen.
Yeah.
Would you say the hologram is that AR?
It's more part of AR than VR for sure. And again, they're gonna meld. So we're gonna be using sometimes VR to jump into AR meetings. So imagine a conference room, like a small room like this, where maybe 2 people are there physically, and then 2 other holograms are just beaming into. So we can see them as holograms with AR, but they are in 2 separate places wearing VR headsets.
Okay, I think I got that. That was quite cool. But so you say this exists already today, but as a company, can you buy a solution like, okay, say we at Dustin, like let's have VR meetings from now on.
Yeah.
Could we go and fix that?
Yes. So Spatial is an app that was demoed at the HoloLens 2 presentation by Microsoft, and it runs on HoloLens 1. It runs on Magic Leap, and you can actually put on these AR glasses and start projecting holograms. And one of the dimensions, one of the parameters that this tech is developing in, where we're still early, is avatars. So we still have very basic avatars when we are shown in these virtual worlds or
Is it
settings.
like we, me's?
Yeah, kind of more like that than anything else. But spatial is pretty cool because you start by taking a flat photo of your face, and it somehow models that into a 3D face that animates when you speak.
Oh, so you actually get your own face in
Yeah.
the virtual world as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
And-
But which companies have gotten furthest in this? You mentioned Oculus and Facebook. Are there others?
Like furthest as in research and depth of tech is probably Facebook. They're experimenting with lots of body tracking and face tracking for doing social VR and AR. I mean, of course, that's why they bought Oculus for $2 billion.
That's a sum of money.
Yeah, so they have like capture rigs of 200 depth cameras in a big studio that are machine learning how to model like a 3D avatar from sparse data. And now they're catching lots of data, but they of course want to make it so you can just join through your phone and then be modeled in full 3D.
You would say Facebook is that's the company to look for right now when it comes to seeing what lies ahead in the future.
Yeah, when it comes to the broad mass market. And on the other hand, we have spatial that's doing like a full-featured supply of this solution right now.
Okay, but then we've talked. My question to you was what comes in the future, and
Yeah.
you just no, it already exists. Everything I had in my mind, you just said it already exists.
I
But
mean,
what
too,
lies in the future then?
Yeah.
What's the next step?
So it's more fidelity, it's more connectivity. Of course, 5G will drive the accessibility of all this. So you can walk on the streets with your AR glasses, and you can have floating heads around you of your friends talking to you and from all parts of the world.
Is that really what you want? Floating heads of your friends all around you?
Yeah, or full bodies if you're on a floor. The representation of us as holograms will be sharper and sharper and more real life. And of course, interactivity is another parameter. So you will be able to express yourself fully and be as yourself, but also interact with your computer, with your regular productivity workflow while doing this. Like it's a challenge somewhat to type blindly while in a VR conference if you want to chat at the same time.
I can't do that.
Yeah. So I've been practicing with this, but that's still a challenge.
But so, if I'll go back to the question earlier, like, if I want to have this now, if I want to tell my boss, okay, we're going to do virtual meetings from now on, what do we need to buy, software-wise and hardware-wise?
Accessible-wise, buy a bunch of Oculus Go's, and without any friction at all, you can hook up meetings with 4 people. Like they have built-in solutions for that.
Oh, so you just buy the hardware and the software is there. You can just...
Yeah, it's built in by Oculus Facebook now for 4 people. So that's somewhat limited, but there's also digital meeting platforms as pretty much free apps or very cheap apps for up to 20, 30 people as well. So you can do lectures, you can do conferences and stuff with a thing that costs $200.
Nice. Thank you very much for this look into the future, or at least what I thought was a look into the future, but actually was a look into today. Thank you very much, Niclas.
Thanks, Gordon.
Thanks for listening.
Great being here.